the team's part, whoever's on the book. And then you say, okay, by the way, we're working on this third issue, and that also gives you a wider option for incentives and things like that. I'd also continue to keep my goal low. The reason being is because I really had a great time with Indiegogo.com. Indiegogo.com, if you don't meet your goal, they take 9%, which is more than Kickstarter. But if you meet your goal, they only take 3%, which is less than Kickstarter. And so when I met my goal, they sent me this email. They said, hey, guess what? You met your goal, which means we're going to send you extra money, which they kept because they take 9% off the top until your funding is done. So understanding the process more, I would go into it with just more foresight. I would have, here's what's going to happen, here's what's done, here's where we want to go. And then that way, when I'm communicating with whoever's watching the video, and I am a fan of the, straightforward, this is me video. I wish I had puppets. Maybe I'll do a video with me and puppets next time. That'd be good. No?
I love your puppet video, by the way.
Thank you very much. I would stick with the pretty girl.
Oh, yeah, pretty girl.
It doesn't hurt.
That's right. I forgot. Yeah, so pretty girl's in the next video, and which I think worked in my second video because my stepdaughter is actually a letterer, and she's quite pretty, and I put her in the video with me, and I think her charm completely sold it because I do video blogs all the time, and I think people get tired of seeing and hearing from me, so they're like, oh, it's just Anthony, that's great, thanks, it's fun. But honestly, if you...
even if Kickstarter wasn't around, and I have to say, that the thing, it is very important to have your campaign going beforehand, and also it helps immensely to already have a fan base who's ready to support you. But there is actually some truth to that. There's a community around Kickstarter, a small group of people who actually go around looking for, hey, I got one. Who actually go around looking for projects to support. Like they just trawl the comic section or the news section. And just I would look at my backers sometimes, and I would see more than a few people who had backed a whole bunch of comics projects, and so they would give me like $100, and I was like, oh, well, thank you. And maybe they check out my work later on. Like maybe they became a fan. That's great. And it's like, I don't know if I could have done it without Kickstarter. I mean, I feel like maybe I could have gotten close, or maybe I would have gotten there, but I don't think I would have overshot the way I did. I mean, Kickstarter, its great strength, well, one of its great strengths is it has this social media aspect to it, where it makes it so much easier for your stuff to go viral. They put those tools into this website for a reason, to help get the word out about your project. And also, like you said before, the whole the basic Kickstarter video is the person talking directly to you. I'm popping my keys. I apologize. And speaking directly to you, that's a quintessential Kickstarter video. It's because the site is so perfect for directly connecting the artist and the audience. It's sort of like what Scott McCloud was talking about back in Reinventing Comics. And it's not the micropayment, it's sort of the macro payment method, though you can choose to give the dollar if you want. But sorry. But I like to think of it as sort of in a way like a realization of that dream of using the internet to directly connect the audience and the artist to help make these projects happen that otherwise would be, if not impossible, then extremely difficult. Like it increases the gears of creativity in our independent society. Yeah.
Cautionary tale that's not from me, but it's from a friend of mine who did a Kickstarter. If you're going to do a Kickstarter, this is something he would have done differently. Make sure that if you're offering t-shirts, you include the cost of the t-shirts and the shipping in your Kickstarter. If you're offering posters, figure out what the posters are going to cost, include that in the money you're raising. Shipping is really, really expensive, and Kickstarter can be international. We had 10 people from New Zealand each buy a book, and the New Zealand shipping wiped out the greater Chicagoland's profit. So make sure that you build shipping into the things that you're doing. So.
Yeah, I didn't do that. I asked for, I felt like 7,000 was already so much money to ask for. I felt like if I asked for anything more, maybe I was wrong. Or maybe if I asked for 8,000, I would have gotten even more money. I mean, I don't want to think that.
Try it next time.
Well, I'm gonna have to look at my options next time I do a book and make a decision then. But I didn't want to ask for so much money that I would get so close and then fall short and then not get anything. Because Kickstarter is all or nothing. So.
And then I got advice to include in what I asked for the percentage that Kickstarter takes, and then there's a percentage that Amazon takes. So I worked that percentage into what I was asking for on top of the printing cost.
We got as well. International shipping is going to get you. Because it's great. Because you're like, wow, people in Sweden want our book. And you're like, wow, we have to ship it to Sweden.
I did ask for extra shipping money for people from international orders at different levels depending on how much they pledged because I had to ship more at different levels. So that, yeah, but I didn't take into account shipping period because I didn't want to ask for too much money. More full eye.
That's the hard thing about being an artist in general, right? Because you put your work out there and you're like, hi there, I'm worthwhile. But really you're saying it like this, hi there, I'm worthwhile, when you need to be screaming it without being that guy. And that's a really hard thing to do. And the best way to do that, I've found, is to find people who think you're really cool and have them say it.
That's a good idea. Or just accept the fact that you are that guy.
Or own that being that guy. That's hard. And so then you get to the point where it's like, and now you can fund it. And they go, oh, I'm already excited about this thing.
I get you.
I also would have shortened the time on my Kickstarter because there's 2 weeks in the middle. Even though my Kickstarter was very successful, there was 2 weeks where we got 2 pledges. And I'd gotten into the habit of checking my email every 15 minutes going, please, 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 no. Please, 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 no.
What's
This is sad.
What's the least amount of weeks you would feel safe with? 2? Okay.
I think the site recommends 30 days.
Yeah.
Then you're going to form like 30 days. There is definitely, you know we're going to plateau at some point, whether or not you make it. I had 3 big surges. The first surge at the very beginning, which if you have any interest at all, you're going to get, for people who are already following you. And then I got a surge right before I hit my goal. And then because I actually surpassed my goal, luckily, there was a surge right at the very end, and I got some extra money on top of that. So I actually was lucky enough to get 3 surges.
Yeah, it seems like Kickstarter designs their website to get more promotion to the projects that have already succeeded. So it seems like the faster you succeed, the better off you are.
People know they get the stuff. They're like, wow, this has already been funded, and I really want the book. So here's this thing. We have 5 more minutes, so let's get 2 more questions in. So 1 minute.
I wanted to ask about the stuff. How much time? This is the model where I get screwed up because I've got plenty of material, but I don't want to be spending my time, money, and energy selling stuff. I want to sell my book. And how does that shift in this model?
That's why it's good to prep beforehand. If you have all your incentives and everything like that already lined up, and you know what you're willing to offer, what you can offer, you factored in shipping costs and all of that, so you know what's available. You don't have to do that work anymore. All you have to do is focus on your book, and then all that's left to be determined is who gets what stuff. So yeah, that's why it is so important to do as much preliminary work ahead of time before you ever go out and maximize your 2 weeks.
Sure, but are you making stuff or are you making a book?
It depends on what you choose to offer.
I found that most of my money came from sales of the book itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only 3 people wanted t-shirts.
Okay.
So I made t-shirts, but everything I made was made from stuff that was made from the book. So I didn't make any new art. If there's a t-shirt, it's art from the book. I don't know if you guys had a similar experience.
My largest investments were for people who wanted to choose from original pages from the first issue. So those pages were already done, it's just the incentive was donate X amount of dollars, you'll get JPEGs of all the pages you can pick from, whichever one you want is yours. And it was I also put on their first come, first serve, so if you wanted the most selection, pick this option before everybody else. That's all I
Okay.
I like the extra stuff that you can get. One of the cool things I like about Kickstarter is if you back somebody early, you can get something that's exclusive and you can't get anywhere else. And so I built up on that idea, and I produced stuff that I wouldn't have produced for otherwise. So like there's this, I did like a silk screen belly band that I'm only going to offer for the people that contributed to Kickstarter. I made a doll of one of my characters that you can play for, but that I could get a lot more money offering that and the book than just selling the book, so that definitely helped. And so I had to spend some time making a doll. That was some time, but I only made one. And you know, if I needed to mass produce them, I could.
When they give you those incentives, you can have a unit limit. Like you can tell the website only one is available.
Right.
So that adds value to your campaign.
To your initial question, Kickstarter is specific to an artistic project. So you would say, like, I am funding this book project, and typically the reward would be a copy of the book. You know, similarly for us, every time that's what people want is the book you're featuring. Which it seemed like it was.
My question was actually about incentives, and other than your book that you're producing, do you get any feedback from your supporters that they really liked that you made a card or you did buttons? Like, what kind of products did you do other than the options from your book? Anybody agree? A doll is really interesting.
The doll's a great idea.
It's a good idea.
My book was a deluxe version of the book. So everyone who donated $10 and got the book is going to get a 40-page first issue which has production notes and everything else. So that was my biggest sell, was to build that. And then otherwise it was just original art or posters or buttons and things like that. But I deliberately made an exclusive edition of the book that you only get by donating. I think that works well.
Okay, so we're down to the last minute. So any further comments on that last question before we round up?
Yeah, so this book, the funding was very successful, and so what we did was you could actually get, one of the things in the book is handmade musical instruments. So he would actually make musical instruments as one of the rewards. So you can see, which I think was really cool. But I've seen people take it a lot further, where they'll like make the costume for the character in the book, and that's the kind of thing that's just, it's invaluable. Like it you want to think about what are the most personal aspects of this that I can make on a micro scale.
Just, what they said, like, unique things are great, personal things are great. Like, I also offered original art. I also offered some unique original art, aside from, I have original art from the book itself that I produced over the course of 2 years. But I also offered for the second highest, for $500, I offered the original art to the cover I did. And then I actually added an even higher one, because I thought, since someone actually claimed the $500 one so early, like within the first couple of weeks, I added a $600 one and offered I did sort of riff on Girlbot for the Big Funny a couple of years ago, and so I had like this gigantic piece of original art that I had offered to sell before, but nobody wanted, so I thought maybe someone would be interested now, since it would be going towards the cause of my book. And I also delivered a copy of the Big Funny, which you can't get anymore. So, and the guy took me up on it pretty quickly, actually. He was my biggest supporter. Great fella.
Okay, well, thank you all so much for coming to talk to us about this. We were glad to talk to you. We all have tables at Mix, so if you want to come and talk to us individually about our projects, we'd love to. Thank you very much for all coming.